This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you an interview with Vice Admiral Atul Kumar Jain, Chief of Eastern Naval Command on Indian Navy Day. The interviewer is AIR correspondent Srinivas Mahesh.
Vice Admiral Atul Kumar Jain ji assumed charge as the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Eastern Naval Command. Welcome, sir. With the backdrop of threats from the neighboring countries like Pakistan and China in the northern borders and their ships and submarines found in Indian waters, how is Indian Navy, particularly ENC, is preparing to face the threats and safeguard the marine interests of our country?
We are facing a very extraordinary situation. On one hand, the world is struggling with COVID-19, and on the other hand, we in India are facing the security challenges on our northern borders. But I would like to tell you, despite all these challenges, Indian Navy, including Eastern Naval Command, very quickly got ready. Since our main job is to fight, we got ready to protect the maritime interests of the country despite the COVID challenges. It was a bit difficult initially because no one knew what this COVID is all about and what dimension it is going to take. But I'm very glad to tell you that in the Eastern Naval Command, all our officers, sailors, and the defense civilians, including our families, they played a very important role for us to be combat ready. In fact, our chief this year announced that the Navy should be combat ready, credible and cohesive force. And we all have been working in this direction. And both the fronts, whether Pakistan or China, you can be rest assured that Indian Navy is totally ready, and should there be any challenge, we'll give them a most befitting reply.
Eastern Naval Command is one of the major organizations in Visakhapatnam. Once a sandy village, Visakhapatnam is on its way to become administrative capital of Andhra Pradesh. And what would be the role of Eastern Naval Command in this emerging city in the future?
City of Destiny and Eastern Naval Command are intertwined. As you said, Visakhapatnam was a sandy town, but today it's a big industrial city of Andhra Pradesh, a port town, and the way the commercial activities have come up, I think it's amazing. I have seen this city since 1982, and I feel very happy to see the growth, the way the city has come up. Similarly, Eastern Naval Command, we started with a small setup in 1939, and formally the Eastern Naval Command came into existence some 52 years back, and today it's one of the most important operational command of the Indian Navy, as I said earlier, comprising very modern and sophisticated ships, submarine and aircraft, and also the nuclear assets of the Navy. Vizag and Eastern Naval Command, they actually complement each other in terms of growth. We depend a lot on the state and the local administration for our growth, particularly infrastructure and other facilities. Once Visakhapatnam becomes the administrative capital, for us it will be easier to liaise with the state officials about our requirements, because the Navy is expanding service and we do require a lot of support from the state government in terms of land and also in terms of other facilities, and certainly it is going to be much easier for us to maintain the liaison with them. At the same time, once Visakhapatnam becomes the administrative capital, the economic and the commercial activities are going to increase manifold. We at the Eastern Naval Command, including our defense civilians, we are almost 40 to 50,000 personnel, and I'm sure we are going to play a very important role in the economic growth of the city. And once the economic growth comes, the challenges of security, they're obviously going to be there. Since the headquarters of Eastern Naval Command is there at Visakhapatnam, the security requirements of the port city and the capital city of Andhra Pradesh will be met by the Indian Navy. Particularly the coastal securities related issues will be handled by us. It will be a kind of situation where we benefit from the state government, the city benefits from the presence of Navy here at Visakhapatnam.
Now Visakhapatnam is a growing city. And what would be the impact on Navy once it starts functioning as an administrative capital of Andhra Pradesh?
The city's growth will not in any way as far as our operations are concerned. But yes, once Visakhapatnam becomes the capital city, the facilities are going to improve in the city, and certainly it will also help us because the quality of life of the naval personnel and our defense personnel will also improve when the city grows.
How do you view the growth of Eastern Naval Command and the city as they complement each other?
As I said, Eastern Naval Command, city of Vizag, we complement each other. We have done our bit for the growth of Visakhapatnam, this beautiful submarine museum, this TU museum, and also we are in touch with the state government. In fact, Honorable Chief Minister has already given go-ahead for the integrated museum, which is going to come next to the TU museum. So the Navy is always there. Navy Marathon, which has become one of the biggest event, is going to be there. So Navy will contribute in its own way for the growth of the city.
And the ENC has been participating in many joint exercises in collaboration with the navies of other friendly countries. How are such joint exercises helping Indian Navy?
It's helping in a big way. Basically, the challenges out at sea are common in various parts of the maritime domain. The challenges are so vast and huge that it is impossible for any country to take on them. Things like piracy, things like maritime terrorism, smuggling, all these things, they are prevalent, and all the countries are struggling with these kind of challenges. So when we operate together, it brings the navies together. We learn from each other the standard operating procedures. We achieve interoperability, and also we get to know the strength of each other. We also imbibe the good practices. Each and every navy, they have got their own professional strengths. And when we operate together, we benefit from each other and we imbibe the good practices. So far as exercise Malabar is concerned, it's a very, very complex and advanced exercise. Earlier it was basically between India and United States Navy, and then Japan joined, and recently even Australia has joined this exercise. So more the merrier, and it becomes that much better for us to operate together, understand each other. Should there be any requirement, even if there is a requirement for humanitarian aid or disaster relief, these kind of things also, we all can work together for the benefit of the community.
And during the calamities, people look up to the armed forces for helping hand. Vizag is one such calamity-prone area. How is ENC is prepared to rendering such humanitarian assistance during calamities?
This is one of our important role. As you all are aware, we got 4 primary roles. One is protect the maritime interests of the country. Second one is our diplomatic role. Third one is the constabulary, and fourth one is benign. Now this humanitarian aid falls within our benign role. We pay a lot of attention to this benign role. All our ships at any given time are always ready should there be any requirement in any nook corner of the country, and even for the neighboring countries, should there be any requirement, we are always ready. In fact, as a standard practice, we have this something called disaster break. All ships, frontline ships, operational ships, we always have this break. Our diving teams are always ready in Visakhapatnam, and also helicopter is ready 24/7 for any kind of requirement, including search and rescue missions. Also, one ship is always kept standby should there be any requirement to sail out at a very, very short notice. On the eastern seaboard, we have got 4 naval officer in charges. We have got a naval officer in charge at West Bengal, located at Kolkata. We have got a naval officer in charge at Chilka also, at Visakhapatnam, Chennai also. Whenever there is any requirement, these naval officer in charges, they have close liaison with the state government, and based on their requirement, we reach out to them.
As you know now, all the humanity is facing challenges due to COVID-19. What services have been rendered by ENC during this pandemic period?
Initially, in the month of March, when COVID came into the limelight and suddenly there was lockdown, no one knew what has hit us. And that is the time when Indian Navy, we straight away got into action. We got our ships, etc. ready. And same time, our naval dockyards, naval community, they played a very, very important role to meet out the requirement to tackle COVID. And one thing what Naval Dockyard Visakhapatnam did was, they came out with multi-feed oxygen system and also multi-temperature monitoring system. Now these 2 devices, they were very, very helpful, and in fact the local hospitals, they approached us and we gave the multi-feed system to them, and it was very extensively used by the hospitals. Similarly, Telangana government reached out to us for this multi-feed system. In addition to that, in our naval area, since we used to see our police was overstretched and they were controlling the traffic during the lockdown period, so just to take away some amount of burden, we had deployed some of our naval personnel in the naval area around that area, so that they could also control and they could give some respite to our police force.
In case of a war or any other threat from enemy countries, people have an apprehension that Vizag would be the first point of attack. Are such apprehensions of local people justified? Could you please give assurance to Vizag? If yes, what are the initiatives that Indian Navy is following to safeguard the lives of citizens?
Let me tell you, the Eastern Naval Command are keeping a very sharp lookout in our entire area of responsibility, primarily in the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean region. 24/7 basis, our ships are there covering these important areas. sea lanes of communication. Our aircraft are keeping watch on each and every square kilometer of our waters. Our ships are patrolling in all the important exit entry points to Indian Ocean region. So at any given time, we have got a very robust maritime domain awareness. We know what is there on our backyard. All our ships which are on deployment, they are mission ready. So should there be any requirement, straight away they will be there in time to tackle the challenges. So the citizens of Vizag need not worry. They should have peaceful sleep. Eastern Naval Command is there. We are doing our job, and I can assure you nothing will happen to the city of Visakhapatnam, and for that matter entire coastline, both east and west. We'll do our best. We'll make sure that our maritime interests always protected.
A large number of youth look up to the armed forces for a news of employment. Any special message to the present youth to motivate them to take up a career in the defense forces?
Whenever I get opportunity to interact with the youth, I always reach out to them, and I always say that Navy is a way of life. And in fact, life in armed forces is much more than profession. It is like joining a family. Navy provides a unique opportunity to pursue a challenging and rewarding career. In fact, not only Navy, but it is for all the armed forces. They come back and have that sense of satisfaction that they have done something very constructive for the security of the country. In addition to that, it also provides wonderful opportunity for the youth to pursue their interest in the field of sports and other adventure activities. In fact, you all will be aware that recently 4 of our lady officers, they went round the globe in a small boat, and which was very, very challenging and adventurous activity.
As you said, now the role of the women is actually increasing. Women sailors have taken adventures in the Indian Navy. Role of women in the armed forces is increasing as they are now offered permanent commission and even the combat roles. A large number of women are taking up this challenge and joining the armed forces. Can you please elaborate the avenues for women in armed forces and in particular in the Indian Navy?
We in the Indian Navy close to 700 to 800 lady officers, and in fact till around 1992 lady officers, they used to join only the medical branch. After that it was the Navy which started the induction as short service commissioned officers, and various branches, they all were open for them. Lady officers, they did a fantastic job part of the naval forces. The government has said that they should be given permanent commission. So Navy is working in that direction, and in fact a board has been constituted. So recently 2 lady officers have been appointed on board our aircraft carrier Vikramaditya, and even here in Visakhapatnam 2 of them have been appointed on board INS Shakti. So all in all, the doors are totally open for the lady officers. And second thing which is also very important, that there is no gender discrimination in Navy.
Keeping in view the infiltration through sea route, what kind of steps have been taken up to protect the maritime securities?
You know, our country has got a coastline of 7,500 kilometers, and on the eastern seaboard we have got around 2,500 kilometers, and we have got thousands and thousands of fishing boats, and it's very, very difficult to keep track of each and every fishing boat out there at sea. And as we say, high seas are commons. So we do find beyond our economic EEZ boats from Sri Lanka, boats from Bangladesh, boats from Myanmar operating all over. Maritime domain awareness becomes a very, very important big challenge for us. But I'm very glad to tell you that we have come a long way in last decade, and we have done a lot to create a very robust setup for the coastal security. All the stakeholders, that is the Coast Guard, state agencies, customs, marine police, we keep doing regular exercises every quarter. Now we have achieved a lot of synergy. Each and every port is now under surveillance. Each and every harbor is under surveillance. And we now exactly know what is happening where. And we have now inducted in Navy Sagar Prahari Bal and fast intercept boats. Helicopters are also there. We are keeping a very sharp lookout on our coastal areas. And I can tell you what happened 26/11 will not be permitted to be repeated, and we are keeping a very sharp lookout, and good synergy has been achieved.
Thank you for being with us and sharing a very valuable information with our listeners of All India Radio.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to an interview with Vice Admiral Atul Kumar Jain, Chief of Eastern Naval Command on the Indian Navy Day. The interviewer was AIR correspondent Srinivas Mahesh. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our website newsonair.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.